take a simple example. Maybe I lost some money and now I punish myself by not eating for 1 week because I did a mistake and I deserve punishment.
Gratitude Thursdays. Maria on the mic. Yo, yo. Gratitude galore. That is how we roll. Yo, 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 yo. Grateful for all, even when it's small. Yo, 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 yo. Blessings some more. Gratitude in store. Yo, 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 yo. Gratitude galore. Welcome aboard. Yo, yo. Welcome aboard.
Hey, hey, what's up, gratitude buddies? It's your girl Maria back with another episode. And if this is your first time here, welcome to our little family. And today, the main focus is self love, and specifically, we'll be understanding what self love is not. Because if someone asked you right now, how do you define self love? What would you tell them? For me, I think I'd go along the lines of self love is a love that seems selfish but is not. And the fact that I've used the term selfish while defining self love is really sends off some red flags. It's misleading because I remember having a discussion with my therapist about episode 7 where I began off by saying that we'll be a little bit selfish because the focus is self love. And she told me that self love cannot be selfish. And I've found myself reflecting upon that and thinking about where did this association of self love with selfishness come from. And I think it's because I received some, I guess, criticism for loving myself or something of that sort. Because I remember whenever I was sick when I was a child, my aunties and my mom, they would say something like, mbona unajipenda hivyo? In Kikamba, they would say it like, uende tu niki, uende tu niki. For those who know Kikamba. But yeah, it basically means why do you love yourself that much? You're like sick and you're just feeling the symptoms and just maybe sleeping, and then they'll say that you're loving yourself too much. So I maybe that could have contributed to me thinking that me loving myself is selfish. It's wrong because the way it came out, it was not like it's something good or it's something to be proud of. And I think I'm not the only one who maybe has maybe you who's watching right now, you've been told that the same statements, and maybe you tended to believe that loving yourself is selfish. And today we'll try and demystify all those things that we've been told about self love. Now, let's explore what self love is not. And number one, which is the most obvious, self love is not selfish. Self love does not focus on excessive self centeredness and failing to consider the needs of others. And self love does not, if I'm practicing self love, I will not hurt a person or harm someone else or mistreat someone at my own benefit. So, for instance, if I love myself, I claim to love myself, I'm practicing self love, and my self love involves taking care of myself and maybe taking care of my body, taking care of my nails, making sure that my nails look neat and fresh all the time. I may think that I'm practicing self love if I take care of my nails and I'm mistreating the person that is doing the manicure. I'm talking to them harshly or looking down upon them. If I think that I'm practicing self love, then I'm definitely misleading myself because that kind of love is selfish. It means that for me to get my manicure, I have to look down upon someone, I have to talk rudely to someone, which is really not the kind of love that self love is. Like, self love does not leave any room for selfishness, it involves putting myself in another person's shoes. If I'm practicing self love activities, I should ensure that they are beneficial to everyone around me, that I'm not hurting someone else just so that I can have fun, so that I can practice the things that I love. And the second thing that self love is not is that self love does not equal self sabotage. Self sabotage is like harming oneself either physically, either emotionally, either mentally, and thinking that it's okay. And one example that I can give is if I am in a toxic situation and I can get out, but I choose not to. I choose to stay and with the fear that this other person might harm me, what will people say, and I claim that I love myself, then I'm definitely lying to myself, because if I love myself, I will not sabotage myself while I'm seeing, well, it's visible that, yo, this thing ain't working out, you need to leave, and I'm still staying. So self love is not self sabotage, it's not self criticism. If I'm the one calling myself demeaning names and I claim that I love myself, I can say, well, why am I so stupid? Why am I so useless? And I claim that I love myself, then I'm just lying to myself, because self love does not equal self criticism, it does not equal harsh judgment to the point that you can even punish yourself for doing something. For example, let's take a simple example. Maybe I lost some money and now I punish myself by not eating for 1 week because I did a mistake and I deserve punishment. Self love does not equal all that. And if we are doing that, then maybe we're not practicing self love. No, it's not maybe, it's a sure deal. We're not practicing self love. And the third thing that is not self love is that self love is not after perfection. If I love myself, I will not seek perfection. And one thing that I feel that we seek a lot of perfection in is our bodies, and specifically through going for plastic surgery. There are some instances where plastic surgery is understandable, where it makes sense, but there are instances where it's just, now, for instance, I can say for someone like me, like if I go for plastic surgery, then it will not make sense because I'm healthy. I really don't need to enhance anything. But if I feel I need to enhance it, then I'm kind of seeking perfection. I want to be like so and so. I want a perfect body rather than appreciating the body that I have. So if I'm always after perfection, if I always want to be the best, if I always want to be loved by everyone, to be perfect, then I'm not practicing self love. Self love is absent, it's missing. And buddies, what have we learned today? We've learned that self love does not equal self sabotage, self love is not selfish, and self love is not after perfection. And now on to the weekly activity. But before that, let's recap last week's activity, which was about writing one kind thing about our bodies. And I have to admit, in the midst of the activity, I got mixed up and I generally wrote kind things to myself. So if they are not related to the body, kindly understand. So I'll just read them out. And this is what I wrote. I wrote, "You are very lovely, Maria." I wrote, "You keep getting closer to achieving your dreams, Maria." And I wrote, "You are doing the best that you possibly can, Maria." And I put some stickers just to pimp it up. Now this week's activity is going to be a little bit different because we are trying to understand what self-love is not, and we'll be basically documenting all instances where we're not showing self-love. And for instance, if I love the drink myself to sleep or drink a lot, and I can write down that drinking, over drinking is not self-love. The point is to realize the behaviors that we think are self-love, but in the real sense they're not self-love. And that's it for today's episode, Gratitude Buddies. I'm so glad you could tune in until the end. If you enjoyed the content of this show, make sure you subscribe and make sure you like the video. And until next week, Gratitude Buddies, have a lovely week filled with love and gratitude. Bye bye.